So don't shelter under a tree or anything like that. But yeah, if we do have a little bit of electrical activity, then try and find a little bit of shelter, but don't go underneath the tree.
Good morning. Just walking up out of Readymoney Cove. I've just done a 24k race around this part of the coast path and part of Fowey town this morning. And now I will be walking from here to Par Beach. Should be a nice little cool down walk, I guess. It was a fun race. Some slippery trail this morning. And a couple of steep hills, but it went relatively well. My legs felt a bit heavy, I think. I haven't been able to run all week. So I'm not, I guess, in the best shape possible coming into the race. I just have a bit of a sore knee, so I've had to be careful. I don't want to exacerbate whatever injury it is that is causing the pain. But it seems to be alright today, so I live in hope. Nice view out from here towards Fowey and Polverin on the other side of the river mouth. And this nice castle right behind me. quite nice today. We've had some very high tides in the last week. I do believe there was some flooding down in town there. There has been like minor flooding around Wade Bridge. I think that was just part of some of the roads were submerged, and there are some places that had it pretty bad. I think Lou, they had some quite bad flooding over there. Anyway, it is now starting to rain. Thankfully I beat the rain during the race there, I guess, but it is now coming in. So I'm not sure how long I'll take on this walk. I don't want to be out in the rain too long really, but we shall see how it goes. See quite a bit of rain down in that direction, which I think is coming this way, but there is some blue sky over there, so again, I live in hope. I'm not sure how much hope I have crossing this puddle though without getting wet feet. Oh, made it. Does this go anywhere? No. But nice to have just a little look around while I'm here. Right. Have run past this 3 times this morning, so on the 4th time actually have a little bit of a look around and enjoy the sights, enjoy taking it in a bit more. I've said it previously, like the last time I walked from Perranporth to Newquay on that day after a race, and I said then, I guess it's partly like having that runner's high when you've just been out running, but it kind of makes you, now that you've slowed down, you kind of take things in a bit more and appreciate it. So I think this should be an enjoyable walk, albeit a short one by my standards. So that was St. Catherine's Castle, Castel S. Catherine. Sen, I think, is what the S stands for, which is the Cornish word for saint. I believe it's Sen anyway. Making the assumption that it's late enough in the day now that I won't encounter any runners on this path. I don't know if anyone will still be running. Oh, what's this? think, thankfully, it's the blue sky that's headed my way and not that horrible looking rain out there. But I wouldn't be too bothered about getting wet today, I suppose. I was kind of prepared to get wet because there is a weather warning out for rain, but looking at the forecast, it seemed relatively clear over this particular area, so I guess with any luck I'll just be avoiding any bad rain. It is a little windy, but I guess it's a relatively nice day for it. It's now the first weekend of November, so very much coming towards the end of the year now. And for me, I think it's now around, is it 3 months or something? And then I'll have been releasing videos at least once a week all year, well, for a whole year rather. Which I am going to try to do. I will try to make it to 1 year of making a video at least once a week. And then from there I'm not really sure what I'll be doing with my YouTube channel. What I'm currently thinking is that going into next year, 2024, I shall probably start making videos less frequently, but try to make videos more interesting, I suppose. So rather than just recording what I do each weekend, I will just upload videos like when I feel like I want to record something, if that makes sense. If I want to do like a challenge, or if I'm doing something where I'm pushing myself a bit more than I perhaps normally would, or if I'm going somewhere new that I haven't really shown off before. I think that kind of thing is what I would like to do going forwards. So produce videos a little less often, but hopefully have like more varied content in those videos. couple of like really silly kind of challenge things I have been wanting to do, but I don't think I'll do them anytime soon, mainly because I've just got like a busy schedule to the end of the year and I don't want to do silly challenge things. When I say like silly challenge things, I'm talking about like those kind of ideas I had of I can pick one part of the supermarket and I have to only eat food from that, like that aisle or whatever, for a day, or have a day where I'm only allowed to eat or drink one specific thing. The reason I don't want to do that sort of challenge while I'm, I guess, busy with all the things that are currently planned up until the end of the year is because if I do something like that, that could like mess with my gut for a few days or something. Could potentially leave me feeling very unwell, and that's not particularly what I want when I've still got like events coming up that I want to be training for and so on. The sun is shining through the clouds. Let's take a moment to appreciate the view because it looks very nice. Really getting that like winter feeling now, where even though it's coming up for the middle of the day, the sun's low in the sky. Or relatively low. It will be lower in December and lowest 3 weeks into December at the winter solstice. There's something about it that I enjoy when the sun's quite low in the sky. I guess it just feels like almost completely different to summer. Perhaps that's like the most obvious thing to possibly say. Winter feels different to summer. I don't know. Anyway, I was going to talk about what will be coming up. So I do have something, I guess you would say, quite adventurous in the works, and in terms of when my videos release, I expect that will be starting 2 weeks from when this video goes up. I don't want to spoil what that's going to be, but it's something I am very much looking forward to. I think something I particularly love about this time of year is like these sorts of little areas where you walk through some trees and you get the low sun shining through. Like in summer that would happen only during the evening when the sun's getting lower in the sky, but in the winter you get it in the middle of the day. This ground is not the greatest. Running along this morning was let's just go with fun. Fun is a word that can describe what it was, but I'm just sort of trying not to slip over. So our route for the race was to go up through there and down back through the woods and then loop around Fowey. Yes, I am walking this way. Is there a way to cross this street? A route over there, or do I need to go walking around? There is like 0% chance that I am crossing this water with dry feet. Maybe if I go further down I might be able to. Worth checking out. Can always jump, of course. Does look like it might be a bit far to in the end I have like no choice but to use those little stepping stones. The flow of the water means I have got damp feet, but what's new? My feet were already damp from the race. Like there was a bit of puddle and that which had been running down my legs and into my shoes, so but my feet had finally dried off just now, and I was hoping to keep them dry. But never mind. It's not bad. Shoes are still somewhat waterproof. They are not in their peak condition by any means. No, I really need to start wearing a new pair of shoes soon, because I'm sure I mentioned before, but the shoes I'm wearing have done a lot of distance, and they are very worn out at this point, I think. But I'm kind of attached to them. It's hard to like start switching to another pair, I guess. Plus it's the thing of like, I know I need to start wearing in a new pair of shoes, but it always feels like the first time you wear them is somehow very significant. As long as my knee is feeling okay, if I can get out to do some running during the week, then I think I'll start switching my shoes to a new pair. Can only do me good, to be honest. Lots of mushrooms. I ate some mushrooms for breakfast this morning. But as part of a meal. My, I guess, like race day routine at the moment has been spaghetti with chicken, mushrooms, garlic, chili, pepper, or black pepper rather, and lemon. Very good meal. I think I mentioned that I was eating that in a previous video, although that time I had dried the mushrooms. Have not had like time to do dried mushrooms since then. Never used to like mushrooms. I don't know if I even like them now, but I've been eating them. And I will eat more mushrooms later today. Don't know why, I just feel like it at the moment. I'm pretty sure when I was young I didn't used to like eating bananas. Nowadays bananas are one of my favourite foods. I do think some of these things are to some extent acquired tastes rather than that I inherently liked those things and just never really ate them, if that makes sense. I guess a lot of people would say like coffee is an acquired taste, which I would probably agree with, but coffee's like my favorite drink. It's slippery and sludgy. I think the public footpath goes up to the day marker, which I want to go up to that and see that, so I suppose I hop over this well-placed fence and join that public footpath that I just walked past. So one thing that I did have a problem with this week, which I haven't had a problem with for a long time, is cramp. I woke up with cramp in my leg yesterday. Hasn't happened for a while. I don't know if that is because I haven't had a chance to be running this week as much as I normally would. So I can kind of still feel that in my leg, but it's not so bad. Okay. Let's have a little walk around it, I guess. Very windy up here. So now the question becomes, do I take the lower path or this path in this direction? And is that rain coming this way? I think I am leaning towards taking the low road down here, which I suppose is rejoining the coast path proper. Another look up at this very cool day marker. I walk away from it, it may appear better in the shot. But I don't trip over walking backwards. Anyway, that was nice to have a look at. I was wanting to get up around this thing. It looks like from here the path is just going to go around to where I would have been going anyway. It's all part of the adventure. And adventure is a very good thing. I would urge anyone who feels like they're lacking something in their life, just go outside. Maybe it sounds weird, but like, just go outside and do something. Walk somewhere. You go somewhere that you've never seen before, or somewhere that you have seen before. But go outside and just take it in. Like the sights and the smells, sounds. Can do a lot for you, even if it seems like it should be something meaningless. That is providing you are able to do so, which not everybody is. It is a shame that many of these places are not accessible for people with mobility issues. I guess that's kind of just the nature of these places. Of course, there are still outdoor spaces that are accessible. I think I would just encourage anyone to do the best with what they've got, I suppose. Ooh, trying not to slip over. For me personally, it's made a huge difference in my life. Just regularly getting outside and exploring. And I guess more recently just trying to be involved with more things. Can feel very easy to get sort of swallowed up by day-to-day life. and then end up feeling like you never really want to do anything, particularly if you have like a busy lifestyle day to day as it is, or if you're living in a busy area, can just sort of wear you out over time. But I think finding some time just to go somewhere and do something different, or just get outside, like whatever that means. When I lived in a city a few years ago, like there wasn't that much more I could do, I guess, on foot than visit the local park. It wasn't much of a green space, but it was something. Could walk around the small lake, see the ducks, the swans, the geese. Then I moved a bit further out of town where there were slightly more places to walk, but it was still, you know, like outskirts of the city. It was still very built up compared to places around here. I do very much appreciate like all the countryside that I've now got access to. Although I guess from my particular experience is as somebody who's quite limited to travel because I don't drive. I basically do everything as a pedestrian. Or public transport. Which can limit like where you can go. But I think I still get quite a lot out of the places that I can visit regularly. I guess even if you've only got access to public transport, if you've got a little bit of money set aside, you could still like take a trip to Wales for a few days like I did earlier in the year. I certainly got a lot out of that trip. It was relatively inexpensive. And there is certainly a lot to see in Wales. Again, that's still something that's not accessible to everyone, whether it's financially or otherwise. Like again, it's a lot more difficult for disabled people to get out and experience the world. Anyway, is that Par Beach down there? When was I last here? In, oh, maybe it was May. I don't quite remember, but I did get up onto part of this coast path on that day. And it looks like where I got to that time is not too far from here. This is really a very short walk, again, by my standards that is. I think the route along the coast path from Readymoney Cove to Par Beach is less than 10k, which to me is like, that's not even exercise at that point. But that doesn't mean that it's not still a nice walk to do. I did already race this morning, which was roughly 24k. So nothing to complain about, really. I guess something kind of funny that happened on that day after I finished recording. I was walking towards St. Austell and I thought, like, well, I looked at the map and I thought, yeah, this isn't very far. But I got to the road that I thought I'd be following and there was no like pedestrian footpaths, pavement or anything. It turned out I had to follow a much longer route around than I thought. They said this morning before the race that the key word would be slippery or something along those lines. And that was certainly true on parts of that course. There was quite a steep downhill section through some woods, which was back down to Readymoney Cove before going into Fowey. That was very slippery, treacherous. But this path has been quite bad. Going up a bit now and it's a bit drier, but that last section was very sludgy. So what else have I been up to lately? Last weekend I went to Plymouth for the day That gate is kind of broken. Went to Plymouth for the day to meet up with a friend, and we did a walk around the city looking at street art, and I thought it was very, very interesting. There are some really good pieces of art just like on the sides of buildings or on like electricity boxes and stuff, and it's the kind of thing you would probably just walk past without giving it a second thought if you didn't know to stop and look at it. But some of this artwork was like just really well done. So that was a very good experience. Then there was that Halloween race, which I will have had a few clips from. Whoa, slipping over. In whatever my last video will have been, which I'm still editing. But yeah, after that, I had a bit of a bad knee, like I said, so during the week I've mostly been resting, which is very boring. At this point, like, I'm wondering what did I used to do when I didn't go running every other day? I suppose it gives me a little more time to just chill out, but sometimes you want to be active. Guess I do appreciate a bit of chill out time though. I have weeks at work that are a bit more stressful. But running is also really good for that. That is Par Beach over there. The cove just behind this one in front of me. That's where I stopped the last time I walked here. So I'm quite close by now. I will finish at Par Beach, and it's not far off. See a small harbour just below me. So I guess I'm about to walk down into a small port or something, and then up the other side. Times like this, where I've just like stopped for 5 minutes to sit down here, look across the bay, have a quick lunch, feel like I want nothing more in life than the peace that I feel right now. Unfortunately, peace doesn't pay the bills. Anyway, time to do this last little bit, I guess. Just passed a sign saying, "Beware sheep in the field." I think that's like a first. Usually it's a bull that you should beware of, not usually sheep. Rain is now coming in. Just walking up the other side of the cliff. Hopefully this rain won't last too long. I'm not too bothered about getting wet. I am quite near the end of this little walk anyway. Say this has been a good day out in all. Had that nice race this morning, and then this quite nice walk. That's certainly been enjoyable. Pressing on a little bit now that it started raining, but I'm hoping it won't last too long. Certainly doesn't really look like it. But I'm quite near my finishing point anyway, and somewhere around the next couple of corners I think I'll meet up with part of the path that I have walked in a previous video. All that is to say, I am coming to the end of this particular video. It's not quite done yet, but it is very close to being so. I think it was just here where I went down onto that small beach in the cove, which I had all to myself for a short while on that day. So now just the final part of the path to our beach. level with the tide height now. Just above the beach. A little further along the path and then down. See if I can avoid the better part of these puddles. So anyway, I guess it's now time to wrap up. Hope you enjoyed the video. Do leave it a like and subscribe to the channel. Don't think I've said that in a while. Thanks for watching, and see you again next time.